Today I'm doing a video on how to sew curves. So this would be a traditional drunkard's path block where you have this kind of quarter circle, and then this would be the piece that goes into there. You'll notice that this piece is a little bit bigger than the hole it's going in, and that's for the seam allowance. It works out that there's ½ an inch seam allowance all the way around there because you've got a quarter on this side of the fabric and a quarter on this side. So that curve will be a ½ of an inch bigger and this curve will be a ½ of an inch smaller. So I don't like to sew my curves with pins. I like to just do it as easy as possible, but I do need a little help from a pin. To start off, you have to position the top of the curve together. So this looks a bit weird. You think, well, that's not going to fit together very well. But the idea is that you are going to be sewing it round until it lines up at the bottom there. So in order for it to sew like this, the easy way to remember is you want it to line up like that, so you're going to flip it so the right sides are together, which is hard to demonstrate with solids, but that was what right sides together looks like. These two edges are now lined up, and this is a ½ of an inch guide that I have on my machine, and this is my ½ of an inch foot. I'm going to just pull that to the back, bring my foot down, and then my stitch length is a little bit shorter than normal. If I lined up for a ½ of an inch, I'm just going to take a few stitches. Then as I work, I'm going to pick up this piece. I'm not going to interfere with this at all other than to sort of gently rotate it, but I'm going to pick up this and I'm going to kind of ease it to look straight. So this part here, this is like a straight edge, only for a couple of stitches, and so that's how we're going to treat it. We're going to treat it like a straight edge. Let me move that out of the way. So you're going to take a couple of stitches and then you're going to ease that round a little bit more. So all the time this part that's going under the foot is a ½ of an inch, and it's straight to the ½ of an inch mark on the foot. So as you can see, I'm pulling this back just so that this bit becomes the straight, and then I'm pulling this forward to meet it. And once you've got a bit of practice, you can do this a lot faster than I'm doing this. So now we're at the middle, and we're just going to keep on going. You don't want to pull this fabric too hard because this has it's not cut on the straight because it's a curve. So there is a little bit of chance of stretching. So your first ones might be a little bit wrinkly as you kind of get used to the amount of tension that you need to put on the fabric, but you're just kind of easing it gently. You're not putting a lot of force on there, you're just helping it go underneath that foot and helping it line up. As we get closer to the end, it's going to be harder because these edges want to kick out further away from each other. So this is where the pin comes in. So I'm just going to have this ready now. I'm going to keep easing the blue round like I was before. That's my outer curve. My inner curve, I'm just going to keep hold of it with the pin and just kind of bring that fabric over. And you're going to go slightly slower at the very end. So I'm still easing. Bringing the blue round. And then the pin, I'm going to put it in this point, or reasonably close to the point, and that's going to help me bring that round and bring it straight under the foot. I don't want to sew over my pin, so I can take that out now because that's nice and secure underneath the foot, and just finish off that seam. So this is what it looks like when you've taken it out of the machine. That was the bottom of the curve. We started at the top. When you open it up, got a nice curve. You might find that occasionally one part's longer than the other. That can be a multitude of things. That can be the accuracy of your ½ inch foot. It can be the accuracy of your cutting, in which case I think that's my problem on this particular one. From the templates, I tend to cut mine with scissors, and if you have maybe a curved ruler or something like that, you might have better accuracy there. But I'm literally now just going to, I don't need to clip this curve or anything, I'm just going to press it to the blue because that's the darkest fabric. So this is what it looks like when you've pressed it to the side. So a nice easy seam there. It doesn't need any clipping in it. And then there's the front. And then you can just trim that down and make it into any kind of block with a curve that you want to make it into.